Is Iran emerging as the world's new superpower? The global political stage is buzzing with renewed discussions about Iran. Many analysts suggest the nation has reached a point where it could potentially emerge as a future superpower. Traditionally, the term superpower evokes images of nuclear arsenals, sophisticated air forces, and massive warships. While Iran lags significantly behind the United States in these conventional metrics, the reality of recent conflicts has fundamentally redefined the definition of a superpower. Iran has managed to challenge the United States primarily through its missile technology. Following recent escalations, Iran feels the necessity of acquiring nuclear weapons more than ever before. Paradoxically, the very conflict intended to bankrupt Iran politically and militarily has served to make it stronger. The confidence Iran gained by firmly confronting the US, Israel, and Gulf nations will provide it with mental fortitude for years to come. The question remains, can Iran truly emerge as a new global superpower? Asymmetric warfare. In today's world, being a superpower is not just about visible military might. Iran has developed a strategy designed to confuse, unprepared, and gradually weaken its opponents. A dramatic highlight of recent conflict is that despite continuous efforts, the US and Israel have failed to fully dismantle Iran's missile capabilities. Instead, Iran is now producing a vast number of missiles at a much lower cost. The precision with which Iranian drones and missiles bypassed Western multi-layered defense systems was previously unthinkable. For 4 decades, Iran has been preparing for such high-stakes combat. Experts call this asymmetric warfare, a strategy where a weaker power uses clever tactics to pressure a superior foe. This explains how Iran, using drones costing only thousands of dollars, could disable US military equipment worth billions. The surgical precision used to paralyze US bases in the Middle East was something Washington never anticipated. Restoring these bases to full capacity may eventually cost the US trillions of dollars. The new reality of global politics. To understand Iran's current situation, we must look back 40 years. The pressure from the US and Israel is not a sudden development. They have tried to corner Iran for decades. Iran alone has faced more collective sanctions than Russia, China, North Korea, and Syria combined. Being isolated from the global economy caused a catastrophic collapse in the living standards of ordinary Iranians, with average incomes dropping by more than half while costs of living skyrocketed. While similar though lesser pressure caused the state structure of Syria to crumble within years, Iran has not only survived decades of financial warfare but has also significantly advanced its military prowess. Why Iran didn't collapse? Western powers expected that sanctions would cause Iran to implode from within, that the populace would rise against the government. Despite regular anti-government protests and the targeted assassinations of key government and military figures, Iran remained resilient. The US previously used similar models to bring down a superpower like the Soviet Union, but this interventionist model failed in Iran. Iran could have chosen a more comfortable path by compromising with the US, much like other Arab nations in the Middle East. However, Iran refused to compromise on its ideology. Its unyielding stance on the Palestine issue, resistance to Western intervention, and the ideals of the Islamic Revolution have served as weapons more powerful than its military hardware. Iran has become a role model for smaller nations fighting against superpower hegemony. Furthermore, Iran has turned the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most vital maritime oil routes, into an effective strategic tool. By utilizing its unique geography, Iran has created a choke point for the global energy economy, a move the US and Israel inadvertently facilitated by pushing Iran into a corner. The fourth superpower. The debate over Iran's superpower status is polarized. Some analysts argue that Iran has established itself not as a traditional superpower, but as a pivotal power or a disruptive regional force. An analysis by the New York Times suggested that Iran has become a new global power center alongside the US, China, and Russia, effectively a fourth superpower. However, other experts point to the necessity of a massive economy. Iran's nominal GDP stands at approximately $225 billion, with an inflation rate near 40%. Projections suggest the economy could shrink by another 10% in 2026 due to war and new sanctions. According to the Global Firepower Index, Iran's military was ranked 16th in 2026, but its navy has been significantly depleted and missile factories damaged. In a conventional war, Iran remains vulnerable to US-Israeli strikes. It survives primarily through geography and superior tactical ingenuity. Additionally, Iran's soft power and alliances are limited. While it benefited from ties with Russia and China, these allies did not enter a direct war against the US on Iran's behalf. Furthermore, its regional proxy networks, the axis of resistance, have been weakened. Conclusion? From a purely economic or conventional military standpoint, Iran may not yet be a global superpower. However, surviving a prolonged confrontation with the world's leading superpower is no small feat. While it may not yet be a superpower in the traditional sense, Iran has undoubtedly cemented its position as a vital and influential force in global politics,